The Awakening of the Chosen. Within the large cosmos of spirituality, the idea of the Second Awakening stands as a very personal and transforming platform. Approaching this subject really moves me as it addresses a fundamental component of the spiritual journey, the ongoing development of our being. Unlike the First Awakening, which is when we start to recognize the existence of realms beyond material reality, the Second Awakening gives us an even sharper view, almost as if we were changing the focus of a camera to observe reality with perfect clarity. This change in awareness is a powerful experience that improves our view and helps us to connect with a greater purpose, guiding us in whatever we do and decide upon. At this point, the cosmos becomes not only observable, but also rather participatory. It all seems more like an intentional, ordered message from the universe than just a sequence of hapless happenings. As if the cosmos were speaking a language we could at last grasp, the messages we get are sharper and more obvious. The way this spiritual development significantly alters us and shapes our understanding of what it is to be awake and living is amazing. Many start to see their own potential buried deep within them during this period of change. Many times, this sense of the divine within of us is a calling. It is a clear call to follow a road of significance and purpose, one that only those who are ready to welcome their own nature may travel. Those who go through the Second Awakening really define themselves and the environment around them by their openness to a fresh perspective of themselves and the surroundings. The beauty of everything is the way this spiritual development subtly but powerfully interacts with our daily life. Every contact, every event appears to become maybe holy, providing a lesson or insight that validates our direction of life. At this stage of spiritual development, I find that even difficulties start to be perceived in a new light. They become useful chances for development and learning, rather than as insurmountable barriers. The dance of the cosmos shows itself in synchronicities that slowly lead us back to confirm our relationship with something much more than ourselves. For while we explore our own awakening, we also motivate others to do the same, so this is as personal as it is group. This energy runs via our deeds and intentions, always renewing our awareness and respect of life. For me, the road of the Second Awakening is one of memory. Recall our original goal and inspire love and optimism within every one of us. This metamorphosis, in my opinion, helps us to awaken a bravery we would not have realized existed, therefore enabling us to live in line with our most basic beliefs. Understanding and embracing this spiritual development opens great vision to lead our own destiny. Ultimately, it's about accepting the questions that keep us going, open-mindedly and receptively exploring the unknown, not just about finding solutions. Every time we investigate the deeper implications of the second spiritual awakening, we walk over a great swath of self-awareness and ongoing development. Thinking about how this phase is not just about a fleeting awakening, but rather a protracted change, a more aware state of being that permeates every element of our life, fascinates me immensely. Many of us are guided to wonder about the outside aspects of our life and search for anything more than surface level during the initial awakening. But the Second Awakening asks us to go farther, to investigate the rich tapestry of our inner essence and expose hitherto concealed levels of intricacy and depth. By means of this process, we start to see the world differently. Suddenly, commonplace settings become remarkable, and the subtleties of daily life become once more beautiful. This awareness helps us to see how closely everything is linked in ways we could never have dreamed of before. This insight not only transforms us on the inside, but also creates almost natural demand for co-creation of our world, with awareness and purpose. This fresh view reveals considerable power, as well as significant responsibility. The nature of our decisions and behavior helps us to define our life. And with that power comes the realization that every choice we make influences the unseen fabric tying all things together outside of ourselves. This knowledge, I admit, was among the most transforming experiences of my own spiritual road, as it let me see the great interdependence of everything around us. Ideas, emotions, and behaviors are not separate things. Each of these dazzling threads in the enormous and enigmatic fabric of creation adds to the overall tapestry of the cosmos. This provided me a great sense of empowerment as well as great responsibility. Being a protagonist in our own spiritual path tests us to welcome this duty with love, compassion, and bravery. It's an invitation to be truthful with yourself, to pay attention to the inner knowledge. Have you ever stopped to wonder why, despite all your achievements, it feels like something essential is still missing? My name is Gabriel, and I've helped countless people like you discover the true spiritual power that resides within them. And today, I want to help you. If you feel like life is passing by while something important remains out of place, maybe it's time for an awakening. My audiobook, The Path of the Chosen, was created precisely for those who have reached this point. In this audiobook, I guide you to feel that enthusiasm for living in alignment with what truly matters, knowing that every step has meaning. Together, we'll transform your fears, traumas, and frustrations into powerful strengths that propel you to a new level of growth. Leave behind the feeling of spiritual isolation and find the peace of a true, constant connection with a greater energy that has always been by your side. Instead of fighting against what you feel, you'll learn to find purpose, serenity, and self-discovery to fill your inner world. This could be the beginning of a fuller, more meaningful life. I've seen it happen for so many others, and now it's your turn. Don't let this opportunity slip by. Click on the link pinned in the first comment and begin this journey with The Path of the Chosen. This is your chance to fill what's missing and finally live the life you deserve. I'll be waiting for you there. That has always been there, but layers of doubt or material world diversions over time might have quieted it. This awakened consciousness challenges us to live really, as every action we do should be done with deliberate purpose and congruence with our ultimate truth. Although this road is not always simple, it is very fulfilling as it lets the entirety of who we really are visible. We find that our life is a continual evolving process of remembering and accomplishing our soul's goal, not just a set of experiences. Understanding this link, the second awakening turns into a compass that leads us precisely and with fresh purpose throughout our path. And we keep in mind that we are not alone, since every one of us travels this road. Every movement and sound we produce adds to the larger symphony of life, since we are all vital members of a common cosmic dance. Constant reminding us that we are both the weavers and the threads of this great worldwide tapestry, I find it to be really beautiful and motivating. Examining ego disintegration is like seeing through a window into the infinite possibilities of the human being and exposing one of the most transformational agents of the second awakening. This is the process by which we start to find what transcends the surface layers created by societal roles and aspirations that define us. This road of self-discovery confronts us with the reality that the ego is just one aspect of a created identity, not the whole portrayal of who we truly are, so it is both demanding and freeing. It always astounds me how this approach may release the spirit from constrictive ideas that bind us in a limited perspective of ourselves. But I understand that this road is not always straightforward, as it might raise inner resistance and even existential crises, a kind of internal catastrophe where the old and the new interact. Like a return home or a reunion with the most real essence, a deeper truth emerges among this turbulence. People at this level are often driven to spiritual disciplines like meditation or introspection in search of means to ground their fresh perspective on life. The disintegration of the ego drives us to reconstruct our existence and combine the most real aspects of ourselves. This integration brings with it a real delight free from external factors and an amazing inner serenity. Hearing the call to release ourselves from the constraints of the ego is an invitation so that we could reach the most pure form of the divine being living within us. We discover our actual power in this area of freedom and authenticity, one that is created from the wholeness of being who we really are, rather than from the approval or acknowledgement of others. Knowing that we are all essentially divine naturally extends compassion and love for others as well as for ourselves. This great metamorphosis challenges us to be more than just people looking for purpose. We become co-creators in a linked cosmos, where every action and desire directly expresses this inner divine. When broken down, the ego does not vanish entirely, but rather becomes mixed in a manner that does not hide our spiritual view. Rather, it turns into a tool, a means for us to negotiate the planet with greater insight and purpose. This awareness usually helps us to reach the next stage in our spiritual development. Although this road may appear challenging, its influence is indescribable as we are reinterpreted into a fresh understanding of what it really means to be human. In the end, releasing the bonds of the ego allows us to enter a realm of many opportunities where love, serenity, and actual pleasure become our unquestionable compass. Accepting this road seems to me not just as a stride on the spiritual road, but also as a quantum leap towards the unbounded possibilities of our own nature. Every stride toward our actual nature reminds us of the natural beauty of the spiritual road. The chance to reconnect with who we really are is what most intrigues me about this process, not the concept of becoming somebody else. By releasing the ties of the ego, we may explore a profound tranquility free from depending on outside events and separate the layers of outside identifications. When we come upon this purest version of ourselves, it's like going back to an inner house, a haven where calm and genuineness live together. Not only is it a spiritual realization, but it changes our interaction with the environment as we realize everything and everyone around us is related. This awareness also wakes us to a real will to foster and assist our individual as well as group well-being. Knowing this linked network helps us to viscerally realize that, as we are all members of a one whole, by helping others to be healthy, we are also looking after ourselves. Usually, when we find this essence, we have an internal need to review our decisions about our lives, always with the intention of uniting our daily activities with our soul's real purpose. This need for authenticity and alignment may help us to rethink our jobs, relationships, and daily decisions. Not only do we start to consider these changes with fresh bravery, but we also understand that every action may be an expression of this discovered core. This metamorphosis affects everyone who comes across our path, as it spreads from our actions to the external world and transcends the interior space. Every deliberate movement turns into a dance of light, expressing our inner awakening and fresh awareness of our global connectivity. Sensing this connection, our empathy develops, and life opens itself in more vivid and significant hues. Every aspect of everyday existence starts to show the divine apparent. The actual substance of this experience of spiritual rebirth is an inside treasure already existing, only waiting to be revealed, not a far-off destination to be achieved. Our effect expands as we move with this new knowledge, and personal change becomes a great communal power rather naturally. Inner wisdom helps us to direct our goals and behavior, therefore enabling us to be lights of knowledge and love in a society that longs for healing and understanding more and more. Accepting our most real core is a courageous and ultimate beauty deed. Participating in this cosmic dance is fantastic. Being real is not only desired but also vitally necessary for the collective awakening of which every one of us is a part. Deeper into this level of self-awareness and authenticity, we come to see that finding one's own essence marks the beginning of a new way of life and cosmic interaction, rather than a destination. Every day we have the chance to develop this inner connection so that our essence could flow naturally in the events we go through and the relationships we have with other people. Once turned on, it's like igniting an inner flame that motivates us to live in line with our most fundamental principles. This flame not only guides people around us, but also helps them to follow their own paths of discovery and honesty, therefore illuminating our path. Understanding that life is an ongoing dance of learning and development helps us to see that every difficulty faced is really a chance to widen our knowledge and compassion. True essence reminds us to welcome uncertainty with openness instead than trying to oppose changes or worry the future. This helps us to be more robust and flexible, as it lets us realize that every experience, positive or negative, helps us develop spiritually. This viewpoint enables us to live in the present with purpose and thanks, knowing that every moment is a necessary component of our development. We start to synchronize with the natural rhythms of life, following cycles of rebirth and metamorphosis. When we pay attention to this internal song, our decisions and behavior automatically coincide with the ideals and truths we come across along the road. This alignment speaks to us profoundly, not just within, but also in our perspective of the planet and our interaction with it. Then shows a capacity for major and long-lasting beneficial changes to affect the life of others around us. Living from this actual essence helps us to communicate our uniqueness in a manner that complements the complete surrounding environment. We honor our variations and yet unite in the basic features of our shared humanity. Collective awareness is further stimulated by this sincere acceptance of who we are at our core and our readiness to perceive the divine in others, therefore fostering a virtuous circle of love, understanding, and world change. True essence so becomes not just a personal compass, but also a community inspiration, motivating an age of more awareness and connectedness worldwide. Examining the transforming power of anxieties helps us to see that the road to overcoming them is a necessary component of the second awakening. Seeing how fear, often seen as a paralyzing agent, can be turned into a strong lever for spiritual and personal development is amazing. Realizing that fear is typically an illusion the ego creates to shield us from things we cannot control or forecast alters our perspective. This realization gives us the confidence we need to confront our worries head-on, therefore breaking their mental traps with fresh knowledge. This change of viewpoint helps us to see fear as a task we can conquer rather than as a barrier paralyzing us. When we see fear in this other context, it becomes a call to introspection that guides us toward our actual areas of strength and personal development. Realizing our true nature is not under control by our fear releases us. Although uncertainty still causes anxiety, the difference today is that, driven by a fresh clarity, we can confront and overcome it. Overcoming anxiety also provides the path to a clarity of goal not possible in our past. This transforming process helps us to better see the part we want to perform in the world. To the call of the soul to realize the particular contribution we come to make in the world, not just about choosing a job or a line of work. This insight links us to something more than ourselves and helps us to choose a goal that goes beyond ego needs and doubts. One should keep in mind that this path of changing anxiety is not straightforward. It occurs cyclically, in waves of clarity and knowledge that are interspersed by doubtful times. Every cycle invites us to explore more, to find fresh approaches of comprehending and combining the teachings that anxiety has to give us. The secret is to keep going even if the route appears to be full of difficulties, as every difficulty solved raises us to a better level of awareness. We start to live in a manner more in line with our own nature by grasping the chance for metamorphosis presented by fear. The soul, which understands our actual purpose and deepest potential, guides this new way of life rather than the ego. We welcome a life of honesty, development, and contribution when we release the illusions of fear. This method helps us not only overcome our worries, but also open new paths for spiritual and personal growth, therefore improving and significantly influencing not only our, but also the life of those around us. Following the road of the second awakening and accepting the change of fears helps us to recognize that living in line with the soul brings with it a liberation the ego could never dream of. This freedom is the capacity to meet obstacles with unquestionable faith that we are precisely where we need to be, not the lack of challenges or problems. Every step we take toward conquering anxiety takes us a little closer to our best potential, thereby motivating us to investigate the boundaries of what we think to be feasible. Within this area of clarity and direction, we start to develop resilience that will help us in all spheres of life. We let the light of bravery and pure love replace the shadow of fear as soon as it ceases to be frightening. This love thus becomes the primary inspiration behind our search for not just our, but also others' well-being. We realize that we are linked and that as we grow ourselves, we also raise the surroundings. The path of change lets fresh opportunities show themselves right before us. We create space for invention and creativity to blossom by letting fear go. The audacity to dream great and carry out both little and significant deeds that speak to the reality of our being emerges. Every choice taken from this level of spiritual alignment echoes throughout our body and brings greater harmony and inner peace, qualities that are naturally mirrored in the outside world. Under the direction of the soul, our interactions and relationships develop in very significant ways. Since we understand in others the road we are also on, we show greater empathy, understanding of their worries and challenges. Stronger linkages, tighter relationships, and communities based on trust and solidarity are produced by this mutual understanding. While deepening our relationship with the cosmos, savoring every moment, conscious of the present, strengthens us and roots us in our own truth. Seeing how the metamorphosis of worries may be a potent catalyst and lead us to a condition of mind free from control by fear inspires me. Instead of running away from it, we should welcome it as a necessary and useful tool for us to be gently pushed beyond the known. As we go through this, we come to see the real meaning of our life, and with it our capacity to really and powerfully save the planet. Awakening wakes us to who we really are, but it also shows the road for us to live with love and purpose, thereby radiating that light to everyone we come across along the road. Deeper exploration of this remarkable experience from the second awakening reveals the actual significance of global connectivity. It is as if a great tapestry composed of unseen threads opens up before us to show how closely every entity, every component of the cosmos is entwined. Under this increased awareness, the illusion of separation starts to fade. We substitute the distinct awareness that we are a part of a much greater oneness, where everything around us is in harmony for solitude. This urges us to appreciate the beauty and worth in every minute of life, therefore changing our perspective. This insight alters not just our perspective of the world, but also our relationship to it significantly. Our empathy and compassion become stronger, now enhanced by a whole knowledge that our individual decisions have great impact on the society. Knowing that every action has an effect, a sincere will to act for the good of the well-being of all living entities, nature and the earth taken as a whole, emerges within us. We become guardians of the fragile equilibrium of the cosmos around us, as well as of our own life. This new knowledge shows itself in the little aspects of daily life as much as in large epiphanies. We start to see signals and messages from the cosmos in synchronicities that were before invisible. These times become faint but potent cues that we are in sync with the global flow. The universe seems to be continuously verifying that we are on the correct road, thereby motivating us to go on with assurance and clarity. Our adopted spiritual practices, meditation among others, have fresh relevance and depth. They become celebrations of this newfound link, rather than just times for contemplation. Active compassion helps us to behave with kindness and generosity, as it reflects our restored nature naturally. Environmental awareness shows itself as a direct result of this connectivity, which motivates us to love and respect our earth, knowing that we are part of an interdependent whole. Accepting this global connectivity helps us to become more whole and balanced, in perfect harmony with the variation of life. This condition of existence reminds us that, in the big picture, every one of us is rather important. Living deliberately helps us to encourage us to grow and cherish the inherent beauty of our relationship with all things and the cosmos itself. Our presence and deeds count. This feeling of belonging sharpens our sense of direction, motivates us to live in line with this new perspective, and lets unity help us at every stage of the spiritual development. I cordially welcome you to include in your everyday life this knowledge of connectivity. Let the knowledge that we are all part of something bigger motivate your activities, feed your soul, and keep clearly and lovingly guiding your spiritual journey. By doing this, we not only change our personal life, but also help to raise collective awareness, therefore guiding all of us toward a more loving and enlightened future. deepening in the second awakening, navigating the amazing realm of conscious manifestation is a transforming experience. At this point of spiritual development, we see that our reality's development is not random. Rather, it becomes a deliberate act when we match our most fundamental goals with conscious behavior. This helps us to show our actual wants, those that really speak to our core. Conscious manifestation is meant to help one tune into the universe, co-create from a place of clarity and actual purpose, not satisfy fleeting needs. This ability is strong and at the same time calls for more accountability and a better knowledge of how our ideas and feelings affect the surroundings. Conscious manifestation is mostly dependent on the fine balance between detachment from outcomes and clarity of desire. Trusting the flow of the cosmos implies realizing that, in certain cases, what shows itself might not quite match what we first envisioned. Still, it is usually exactly aligned with our best good. This helps us to let go of control and welcome the trust that there is a higher intellect at work, therefore guiding us to further growth and satisfaction from experience. In this procedure, one must sustain an aligned vibrational state. Thoughts, feelings, and behavior must be in line with the intended outcome to generate an energizing field fit for manifestation. While positive affirmations reinforce that clear mental picture of what we wish to manifest, practices like creative visualization assist us build such image with affirmative energy. By helping us to quiet the mind, meditation enables us to anchor ourselves in our core and modify our vibratory state for more receptive awareness of the world. The practice of appreciation is another vital component of this road, as it sharpens our energy field and helps us to be tuned in to universal riches. Expressing thanks for both our present benefits and those we are now manifesting helps us to develop an attitude of gratitude that draws even more favorable and enriching events. Gratitude helps us to remain grounded in the present and provides a completeness viewpoint while we go on our conscious manifesting road. Learning the craft of conscious manifestation helps us to become